once again to Senior Focus. I'm your host, Bill Adams, and we're coming to you from the Davis Visitor Center in Mill Creek Metro Parks. Thanks to Keith Kaiser with the Metro Parks for allowing us to use the beautiful Davis Center. And also thanks to Greg Roten from Channel 20 on Armstrong Cable. And his work allows us to come to your home every couple times a month. This show is going to be devoted to volunteers, senior volunteers in the community. And we have some information about how you can nominate a senior that you know for their good work, but also information about all the opportunities that are available if you're we'll find out, over 55 or 60 and you want to help your community. And before we get into the details, why don't I just go around and maybe do some introductions. On the far right, as you're watching, is Dottie John Tony. She's from Home Instead. It's a local company that's going to be working on the Salute to Senior Service program, and she'll explain what that is. And to my right, to the left as you see, is Carol Roth. She is a volunteer. I'm sorry, Ross.
Yeah.
Carol Ross. She is a volunteer, and she's going to describe the work she does, telephoning seniors and talking with them. And next to her, we have Gail Wanamaker. Gail is a volunteer with something called the Ohio Benefits Bank, and they work with Marlene Braunlich. Mm-hmm. Marlene is with the Hands-On Volunteer Network, and they're an umbrella agency in the Mahoning Valley area to coordinate how you can get started volunteering. So just a thank you to everybody for coming in. And why don't we get started we'll just start with Dottie at the top, and then we could, again, talk with everybody during the course of the show. Dottie, why don't you explain a little bit about the program that Home Instead is working on right now?
Okay. Well, Home Instead Senior Care started a program called Salute to Senior Service a couple years ago. And what it is basically is we feel that the senior volunteers in our area make a big difference in the community by giving back to schools, churches, hospice organizations, various volunteer programs like you ladies. And they do so without asking for anything in return. So they came up with this program designed to honor the volunteers in our area who are 65 years or older and who volunteer at least 15 hours of their time per week to any organization. The program is really great. The nominees from last year are all online, and you could go online and look at them at salutetoseniorservice.com. And there is one state winner from every state, and then there is a national winner. Each state winner receives $500 towards their organization of their choice, and then the nationwide winner wins $5,000 to the organization of their choice. The contest nomination period runs through March 31st, and then the voting itself actually runs from April 15th to April 30th. And anybody can go online and vote as to who that they feel should be the Salute to Senior Service winner in your area. It's, again, salutetoseniorservice.com. There are 3 judges in the national panel, and that is Sandy Markwood, who is the CEO of the National Association of the Areas on Aging, and then Rick Moody from AARP, and then last year's national winner, Clark Paradise. Those are the 3 people who will be selecting the national winner from everybody's nomination of who the actual state winner is in every state.
Well, thanks, Dottie. And again, we'll come back to you as a reminder to folks that if you're interested in nominating someone, and someone you know, or even yourself, if you've been doing the volunteer work, that's what we're trying to do is make you aware of this program. And at this point, while we talk with maybe Marlene, and she could talk about what Hands-On Volunteer Network of the Valley, what they do locally, and maybe that'll, in turn, then you can introduce our volunteers.
Sure. I work at Hands-On Volunteer Network of the Valley with the RSVP program, which is a program that specializes in finding volunteer placements for people who are 55 years old or better. So we have a lot of different places that you could volunteer. Hands-on, we'll find volunteer opportunities for people of any age, but my program concentrates on the senior group, as we say. We have different focus areas, helping seniors live independently in their homes, economic opportunity for the VITA program for free tax preparation. Our Healthy Futures focus area has volunteers working in food pantries and the Ohio Benefit Bank. We have tutors in the Youngstown City School District, and we also have volunteers who work with veterans groups. So those are our primary focus areas for my particular program. But again, you can volunteer in any of our nonprofit partners.
Now, RSVP, that's a nationwide program, right?
It is a nationwide program. It's a senior core program of the Corporation for National Community Service, which is a federal agency, and the dollars that run my program are from the federal budget. So we're always waiting to hear about what happens to the federal budget.
Mm-hmm. And so with that, again, you go out and you try to recruit people and you try to...
We recruit volunteers, and we recruit nonprofit agencies who are seeking volunteers to help them accomplish their missions in the community.
So anybody out there that's watching, again, they can contact you, whether they be an agency that needs help or a volunteer, somebody looking to volunteer.
That's right.
And where would they call?
They would call the office 330-782-5877, and if you're computer savvy, you can go to our website, www.hoven.org, and you can browse the volunteer opportunities right on the website.
That's HOVN.org, for Hands-On Volunteer Network.
Yes.
That's easy enough. And at this point, if you don't mind, maybe we could just introduce again our volunteers.
Okay.
And you can both, and feel free to jump in, anybody here, but you could talk about what you do and maybe how you got started.
Okay. Gail Wanamaker is a lead volunteer in Ohio Benefit Bank program, and she's organizing other volunteers as well as doing counseling herself, and she can tell you about that program. And Carol Ross is a volunteer in our reassurance caller program, who calls seniors who need to be able to chat with somebody.
Yeah.
And you can talk about that too. So.
Sure. Well, either one of you want to start. Carol, do you want to start with how you got involved?
I really don't know how I got involved. I just needed something to keep me busy. I needed one more thing, and someone mentioned Hands-On Volunteer, and I said, oh, that's a great idea. So I called one day, and she said, you could come to the office here and make calls, and that's basically what I do. I call seniors, and I do reassurance calls to seniors, and I just chat with them and see how they're doing and how their day's going, and if they need anything. And I can honestly tell you, I just love it. They're such a blessing to me. They really are.
Now, do you know how many a day approximately people you call?
I want to say on a good day maybe 10 or 11, and on a bad day maybe 6.
Okay.
Like some of the people aren't home. They might be out or something, but.
Now, when you're calling them, do they? Are they aware that you're calling at a certain time?
I could call any time. Like I
Okay.
usually get to the office about 9:30, and I start calling as soon as I get there.
Okay.
And but when I call them, they're just so happy to hear somebody on the other end of the line, and they make me happy,
Sure.
and I'm just like, oh boy, and the people are very nice that I call. I can honestly, say they're very nice and very receptive of me calling and everything. And
How long have you been doing the calling?
Not very long. I want to say, December or January? Yeah, and I just
Few
stopped
months.
for a while because I was sick, but I'm back at it now. So yeah, just a few months. but
Now,
I
are
really enjoy
there
it.
other people that do the same thing?
There is one other lady,
Mhm.
Rita Patton, she calls. But we
Okay.
don't like to go on the same day because we don't like to tie up the lines. So she goes one day and I go another day.
Oh, that works out then.
It
yeah,
does work
yeah.
out very well.
Now, are there people that, and maybe Marlene knows this, are there people waiting for these calls? In other words, could you use additional people to do this?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, we probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Certainly.
well, how does that work? How do you know who to call? I mean, have family members said, I have somebody who could use a call, or is this like from agencies or things?
We have referrals, self-referrals from the individuals. We have referrals from the families or from agencies
Mm-hmm.
that just need, they call up and say, a lot of times they will say, my parent needs just somebody to check in on them with a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
It might be the only phone call they get all day.
Sure.
Maybe the kids are living out of town now, or the person has a dwindling social support network.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and,
you know.
and that certainly is true for as you get older. I mean, if you get into your 80s or 90s, a lot of your friends have passed away and family. So, do you recall, like, the first day you started this? Do you remember that?
Well, I was kind of nervous.
Well, I was gonna ask,
But
yeah.
Rita was with me, and
Okay.
she said, why don't you make your first call, and I'll listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no trouble because I really have the gift of gab. And, she kind of listened to me and she said, oh, that was great. That was great.
Mhm.
And I came right out and I said, I think I'm going to like this. And I really do like it. I really enjoy it. I mean, when I go home, I just feel so good inside, And,
Yeah.
and I mean, like I said, they make me feel good and I hope I make them feel good too.
Well, I would imagine, again, if you're isolated, you're living by yourself, and, that would be maybe the only call you get all day.
Oh, yeah,
And so when people get, when they answer the phone, I guess you identify
I
yourself?
identify myself, and then
Yeah.
I tell them where I'm calling from and everything.
And they say, hi, nice
Oh,
to talk to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
They say, oh, thank you for calling. And,
Uh-huh.
I mean, afterwards, we're supposed to write down what we talked about, and I always put down, so-and-so was a very lovely person, enjoyed talking to her,
Mhm.
I'd say 90% of the time, I do that. And
Well, if they were, if they needed something, I mean, have people expressed that, I don't know if they would say this or not, but, I'm hungry, or I haven't been able to get my medications or something like that. Is that something that that you could help with, or maybe they don't talk
yeah.
about that, I don't know.
They don't. They probably don't
No,
usually
they
say
really
that. But
don't
when
say
there is
that.
an issue like that, the callers do let us know. If it's an issue, Gail might be able to help them with Ohio benefit banks,
Well, yeah,
prescription services, and that kind of thing. We do
Yeah.
not go out into the homes though, because it's a liability issue not only for our volunteer but also for the individual in the home.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, and again, we'll get back with Carol, but Gail, at this point, could you describe, again, the Ohio Benefits Bank, and just talk about how you got started?
The Ohio Benefit Bank is a program that enables anybody, any age, it's not just geared toward seniors, to receive assistance in protecting your home or medical, food stamps, any type of assistance that could impact your household in a way that would empower it to remain stable.
Mm-hmm.
How I got started with OBB is walking in Marlene's office one day, and we had finished up another project, and she said, I want to tweak your ear about something, and she did, and she said, and we just started interacting, and she said, well, I need a volunteer for this, and I was like, So we took it on, and I went for training. It is, you have a 6-hour training program that you need to go through to be a counselor, and when I came back, we sat down and talked, and I was remiss about the fact that it wasn't geared specifically toward Mahoning County. It's an awesome program, but we needed more specificities filled into place. And so she allowed me to rework the entire manual so that we now have 100% of the contacts for each of our counselors that go out.
Mm-hmm.
If someone needs something and he's a single parent, father, we can put them with, the fatherhood program. If they're a veteran, we actually have the veterans the person's name, address, and phone number, so we can link them immediately without putting the counselor on guard saying, you come up with this. We actually have done all of that resourcing and created another manual for Mahoning County that
That's specific to the services here.